Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your spoiler alert. I am Mike with Mike W. Productions. Yes, I know I did not do Hawkeye Part 1 and Part 2 on Wednesday. I was busy editing the Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, the last video, which I will link up here for you guys. So I didn't get to really watch and do a video for it, so I'm doing it now for you guys. So hopefully this reaches you guys well. We are pushing into the Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa season, and we have Hawkeye. Now Hawkeye is going to be, I believe, 6 episodes long, and then we get into the book of Boba Fett right after that. But we get 2 episodes right off the bat on this first viewing, which I see why, because honestly the first episode is not a very strong episode. Just like the Eternals problem, you have a character that very few people who are not in the comic book world know who they are. Talking about Kate Bishop being the new Hawkeye-esque person. And nobody knows who she is. So this whole episode, the whole first episode, is basically telling us about her history and a build up into the main story. So we get Kate Bishop as a child. This is during the attack of New York, the first Avengers movie. And she is in New York in an apartment high up in the building, and everything is getting attacked. She sees Hawkeye fighting the Chitauri, and he does that famous thing where he falls down and shoots the bow, hits the thing, and flies to the building, which will be called back on later. So, she's wandering around because her parents aren't, coming and grabbing her. So she starts wandering around. She starts screaming, "Mommy and Daddy." Can't find the dad. The mom finally gets there, picks her up, and runs away.
Yay! We have to get out of here.
And that's about it. We find out that the dad died. We don't actually see a body, so I'm not convinced that he's actually dead. She saw Hawkeye, which gave her the inspiration to learn how to do bow and arrow and learn how to do some forms of martial arts. So she becomes basically a non-gun version of a lethal expert. So she learns how to use swords, knives, bows and arrows, hand-to-hand combat, and all that stuff. Moving on from there, and this is all done with a cartoon, animated, basically open intro scene. So as they do the produced by and all that stuff pops up, we have this little cartoon in the background showing her learning how to do bow and arrow and learning, karate and all this stuff. So, it's interesting because after that we get into more of Hawkeye being Hawkeye. This is basically present day, so we're jumping ahead by quite a lot. And you have Hawkeye is at this New York play, musical, and it's about the attack on New York. They get some stuff wrong. They basically bossing say that whole they basically bossing say the thing, and they do the Fire Nation play, which they get characters wrong, they add in characters, and it's just a big mess. So yeah, Ant-Man's not in that fight, so so he gets tired of seeing them butcher the events, goes to the bathroom. There's an awkward bathroom selfie request. And then he goes outside and kind of has a Tony Stark moment where he has a bit of a PTSD deal where he kind of, has a silent freaking out moment.
How did you get out of the wormhole?
Wait a minute, Tony. What are you saying? Tony.
Check the heart, is it the brain?
No sign of cardiac anomaly or unusual brain activity.
Okay, so it's poison?
My diagnosis is that you've experienced a severe anxiety attack.
And then his kids come out, and then he calms down. Meanwhile, Kate Bishop, who is our main protagonist, new Hawkeye, basically is at a party. She finds out that this guy that her mom is dating is now her mom's new fiancé. So that's always fun. We find out that there is this secret auction going on in the basement that has, I guess, black market items, including the Ronin sword and suit. If you guys don't remember what the Ronin is, they didn't really say much about it in the actual movie. There was a little bit of a tease to the Ronin in, I believe, Falcon and Winter Soldier. And Ronin is basically that character that Bartlett played in Endgame. I wasn't sure if it was Endgame or if it was Infinity War, but it was Endgame, where he's running around killing all the Asian people and he does the sword thing, cleaning it off on his sleeve. So that is the Ronin. Many people have used that suit and that character to do their dirty work, basically, when superheroes need to not be superheroes. So they're selling that suit and the sword separately. Kate comes in and she's wearing a tuxedo, not a dress, a tuxedo, which I guess is a call to non-gender roles or something.
We're gonna burn down the patriarchy.
Alrighty then.
But she gets mistaken as a waiter. So she grabs a plate of drinks or food or something and starts walking around. She finds her way into this auction where they are selling black market items, and then the Trek Suit Mafia jumps in.
You serious?
To get the suit and the sword. The father-to-be finds the sword after they exploded the wall, and so he steals the sword. Kate finds the suit, the Ronin suit, and puts it on, and basically starts fighting these guys. There's a random one-eyed dog in the show. that I don't know what it has to do with anything. Maybe it's just a callback to the comic books. Maybe it's Thor in disguise. I don't know. Maybe it's the reincarnation of the Allfather. I don't know. If you guys know what the heck is up with the one-eyed dog, put it in the comments below, because I didn't read basically the Hawkeye / whoever Kate Bishop's character is comic book. Okay, that's I'm coming into this pretty blind beyond what I know from the movies of Hawkeye, because Hawkeye really wasn't worth me reading the comic books for. So, yeah, I mean, so moving on from that, she steals the suit. The father, it's either the father to be or the grandpa to be, steals the sword. Eventually, we find out that the father of the dad to be dies. So her not yet grandpa gets killed by somebody. We also find out that the tracksuit mafia is looking for Kate. They do find her because she decides to go back to the house before going and finding Bartlett. So the end of this episode is basically Bartlett going to find Kate because he sees that the suit is there, and he was about to punch her in the face and stopped because it's a girl.
How dare you?
That's not sexist whatsoever. I thought we were all equal. But, don't hit a girl in the face, I guess. So that's the end of the first episode, which again is just a lot of character building. There is a few funny scenes, like they destroy a bell / clock tower by ringing a bell, which doesn't make sense. So moving on into episode 2, we get a little recap, of course, and then he's about to punch her in the face and decides not to. So, yeah. They go back to her place. The dog is there. She has changed out of the Ronin costume and puts it down on a chair. And then the tracksuit mafia throws a Molotov cocktail through the window. Okay. And then we get that little funny scene where the tracksuit mafia throws another Molotov. Bartlett catches it, throws it back. Okay. The one thing that I never really understood about the Marvel series is there's too many small, I guess, mafia groups. We have the Hand, we have the Flag Smashers, and now we have the Tracksuit Mafia, which pretty much all of them are D-list bad guys. They're not, I mean, we do have the 10 Rings, but we found out that the 10 Rings wasn't really a thing.
My name's Trevor Slattery.
What are you? What are you, a decoy or a double, right?
What, I mean, like an understudy? No, absolutely not. Don't hurt the face. I'm an actor. Look around you, costumes, green screen.
And the actual 10 Rings was more organized than it was thug. So, So, yeah, we have those groups, but they're all D-list. They're not end-of-the-world bad guys. There's nothing magical or special about them. I mean, at least Agatha, and I know what you're going to say, but Agatha Harkness isn't a big bad guy. Agatha Harkness is a witch, and she could destroy whatever she wants whenever she wants.
Who's been messing up everything?
It's been Agatha all along.
And I killed Sparky, too.
So that makes her an actual threat, not just, oh, we steal stuff and intimidate people. So, but moving on from that, the apartment burns down, and we find out that they left the Ronin suit in the burning building because it was burning, and they decided to come, Bartlett took her to the aunt's house or something. They got changed. He went back to the scene of the crime, which you should never do, but he did, and then he got dressed up like a fireman, went in there, found out that there's no suit there, and so he assumes somebody took it. When he goes back and puts back the jacket and stuff the helmet that he took from the fire department, he notices that there's a LARPing logo for a LARPing company. For those of you who do not know what LARPing is, that is live action role playing. So basically, you get a bunch of people together, they dress up like certain characters from something. Could be an open theme like medieval, it could be something very specific like the Avengers. And everyone dresses up like a Marvel character, or they dress up like a medieval character, or they dress up like a very specific, let's say, Game of Thrones character or something. And they get together, they fight, and they play out these scenarios that are from the books or movies or whatever, and it's, something to do. So he finds that out. He goes to this LARPing thing and finds the guy. One of these people has the Ronin suit. So he gives him two options. You can either fight me. I can either beat you up and take the suit, or you can just give me the suit. Good options. The guy that has the suit comes up with a different idea. He wants to beat Hawkeye because everyone knows who Bartlett is, and so he wants to be the guy who beats Bartlett. Okay, so I can see that being kind of a fun option. So Bartlett agrees. He does this little LARPing thing where they fight, and every time they have sword blows, because they're made of plastic or foam or something, there's a guy who makes a shing shing noise.
You don't.
So it's like tink, tink, shing, shong, ching, ching. And it's just, it's a fun little scene, but it's not really necessary when he could have just went up to the guy, punched him in the face, knocked him out, and take the suit, leaving him there in his boxers, which would have been a little more funny. But that's just my thought on that. Bartlett's not a bad guy, so, So Bartlett, seeing that this whole thing is about to go hit the fan, he sends his kids back home on a private taxi, basically. Apparently they got rich off of the saving the world bit. Maybe he wrote a book or something. So, he was a super spy, so maybe there's benefits with that for working for S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know. But, so he sends his kids home. We do see his daughter, who was learning how to shoot bows and arrows. We do see his youngest kid, who wasn't born when we first saw him in Civil War. Oh, no. It wasn't Civil War, it was Ultron. And then we may have seen him, I think we did see him in Endgame, but like very little bit. So that's pretty interesting. And then we get into more of the meat of the situation, where we find out that the dad to be is kind of just, as of right now,
He's an asshole.
He might not be a main player. I'd be kind of disappointed if he was the big bad guy, because he's just kind of an a-hole, not really a bad guy. But he is lying, and we know that his father was murdered. So that's interesting. And then we find out that the tracksuit mafia, Bartlett decides to give himself up in a Natasha Romanoff style sequence where, if you remember in, I believe it was the first Avengers movie, she's on the phone, she's being interrogated by the Russian guys, and then they get a phone call saying, hey, we need you to go and do this. He's about to tell us everything scene. They kind of play that out, which means that, and we knew that Black Widow and Hawkeye were kind of close. They had a very brother and sister relationship. He's married and has kids, so of course that's kind of what that is. But they had a very strong working / familial relationship. So he learned that from her. So he gets captured, goes to the thing, starts taunting them into telling him what they know and why they're doing what they're doing. And then there is an introduction to the tracksuit mafia, their boss, who's a woman. Okay, I think she's deaf. I'm not sure. I think she's deaf, but we'll get into that. Kate Bishop follows Bartlett, goes to the top of the roof, falls through, and then they are captured now, and the boss comes out, and that's basically the end of the episode. There's only 4 more episodes left, which is an issue for me, because it's like, this is very short, and you wasted pretty much 1 episode on character building when you had 3 or 4 movies to kind of build these characters up, or at least introduce them, Black Panther style, and then, or at least use the other shows to introduce these characters in newsreels and other stuff. I mean, there's ways of doing it. So I'm not sure where this timeline comes into play, because I'm not sure if this is, it says present day. Does that mean present day now, or present day 5 years in the future, where, Wanda's doing all of that weird stuff, and, Falcon, Winter Soldier are doing their stuff? Are these all like on the same timeline, or are they all just kind of skipped around? If you guys know, let me know in the comments. It's pretty interesting. Is it a bad series? Not so far. It's an interesting series, but it's definitely flawed. And I think that they're going to push this whole her taking over thing really strongly. There is also a bit in the second one where Bartlett has a hearing aid in, and Kate Bishop is asking, why do you have a hearing aid? And basically it's because of...
So I can hear you. And to be clear, not because I want to, just because I need to.
Oh. What happened?
Too hard to tell. I know.
Everything that happened in the course of him being a person that fights people. That one scene where he flies through the window, he hits his head on that side of his... yeah, it's the left side. Hits his head on that side, damaging some of his ears. He also had indoor gunfighting, and there was also a lot of explosions. So that damaged his ear, and so now he has a hearing aid. Pretty funny. And again, is it a bad show? No. Is it funny? There are some funny moments. Are there some illogical moments? Yes. I hope that they get into more of a why this is happening type thing in the next few episodes. There's only 4 left. And then we get into the Book of Boba, which I believe is going to be pretty interesting from the breakdowns. I will link that over here somewhere for you guys. But with that being said, thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you for getting this far in the video. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified the next time I make a video. There should be a thing popping up here for another video. And there's a little subscribe button right here. So give it a little tap, tap, tappy.
Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo.
And we will see you next time. Peace.